everyone, Matt here with the Fish Tank, and some of you guys may know me from Home Farm Ideas. I've done hundreds and hundreds of videos on that channel to promote growing plants, preferably plants that you can eat like onions, bell peppers, and all that stuff in gardens. And that channel's gotten a lot of views and all that stuff, but I wanted to kind of kick this into a different gear. I wanted to start doing fish tank videos. That whole hobby, I can get into it, right? Just an introduction. I'll make this video an introduction, basically. So on that other channel, I do gardening and all that stuff, but I started doing aquaponics on that other channel. And the reason why I started doing that was because it kind of blends both things that I really love. One of those things is I love fish tanks. I've always loved fish tanks since I was a little kid, and nothing's changed. I still love them. The only thing is that I wanted to blend them into growing plants. And the reason for that, a lot of you guys know, is because plants remove nitrates from your fish water. And for the basics of all this, most people don't understand this, some people do, but some don't, is that if you remove nitrates using plants, you'll get plant growth, but then you'll also get no water changes. You don't really have to do a lot of water changes when you're removing the nitrates. And the nitrates is just part of the nitrification process. So you start out with ammonia, basically fish poop and pee, right? And then also fish food. And then a bacteria comes in that usually lives in your filtration system, and it converts the ammonia into nitrites, okay? And then from nitrites, another bacteria comes in, and it converts the nitrites into nitrates, okay? So nitrates is the thing that it's toxic to fish, but it's not super toxic. Nitrites and ammonia, those things can kill your fish, okay? But nitrates, they are a less toxic form of the nitrification process, okay? And so how we, as fish keepers, we basically remove those nitrates when we do water changes, okay? The only thing about water changes is that it could, if you're not adding the right water, it could really throw off your little ecosystem that you have going there. So it's best, in my opinion, I know a lot of people might disagree with me out there, but in my opinion, to remove the nitrates, using plants is a better option, because the plants are actually utilizing the nitrates for plant growth. You still have to add certain things to your water in order to get plant growth, and I'd like to touch on those things on this channel because it's just going to be more consolidated to one tank. And so I plan on basically building up a rack and then having some show tanks on here, and basically maybe breeding some betas and guppies in order to kind of just have fun and sell them where I can. So the way this blended for me was basically, I have a garden out back, I have a huge aquaponic system, and you don't want to remove the nitrates. You don't want to mess with the water chemistry too much, so you don't want to remove the nitrates using water changes. So you want to have plant growth. And so basically I have outdoor fish, and then I want to remove those nitrates, and the way I do that is I grow onions and bell peppers and all that stuff. And I'll put some of those videos that I grew plants and like carrots and all that stuff off of, and some of these little things that could be popping up here on the video. So with that said, I'm really into fish tanks. I've always loved them since I was a kid, and I love gardening as well. And so the two can now mix for me, which is awesome, right? Because I can grow food off of the nitrates, and it'll clean the water of the fish tank. So it's a real little ecosystem that in my opinion God created, and it works really well if you can work it properly. So there's three main things you want to keep in mind when you're having an aquaponics system or a fish tank. Is number one, plants like pH to be right at about, well, there's a sweet spot for the fish, the bacteria, and the plants, okay? So the fish like a higher pH. That's just how they are. okay? But bacteria, it likes a little bit lower of a pH. So we're looking at, you know, fish like upper 7s, not all fish, some fish, like the upper 7s, you know. Bacteria, they like it in the lower 6s, and then the plants, they like it at about 6.5. So if you want to get an optimal plant, bacteria, and fish, cichlids aren't going to really deal with aquaponics. You can't do that really with them. But if you want to get a good spot, it would be at right about 6.7. Fish, you can slowly lower their pH, and they should be fine for the most part. They won't stress out and die, but you have to slowly lower that pH. So I blend the two because I really enjoy fish tanks and I really enjoy gardening. And so this will be an introduction kind of to why I'm doing this channel.